Good. And we are recording after a little bit of a glitch with the Webinar Ninja. We are now on Zoom. So thank you, ladies, for being so super awesome. The way we will have to run the webinar now is I will invite you to ask questions, but either pop your questions in the chat box or we will go through the questions at the end. So I'm glad you made it, and I've left the Webinar Ninja on, so if anyone does jump in, hopefully they will see to come and join us on Zoom. So let's get into it. So today's webinar is about successfully moving out of startup. Now, I know there's some different ideas around where people are in business, what the sort of steps are to move out of business. Now, the focus here is moving out of startup and into a growth phase. So we're going to explore what the growth phase actually is in my world, of the world of Chicks That Mean Business. And for those of you that don't know me too well, me personally, I am obsessed with unicorns. I am cat mum to 2 cats, Toya and Speed Panda. I am a budding filmmaker, so I love doing this in my spare time, and I'm starting to incorporate that into my business. And once again, unicorn obsessed. Me professionally, so before I actually started doing online business, I was actually in retail. So what happened is I worked my way up into a national sales manager role, been an area manager, state manager, operations manager, all of the titles in retail, and I burnt out. And going into the national role, I got a few knives in the back from women that had worked with a company for 17 years who thought they should get the job. And coming in as an outsider had its challenges. So I discovered personal development and went, you know what? I'm going to go and work with teenagers. So I built experiential games, programs, online courses, ran live events every school holidays for 4 years. We moved into online content, and professionally, what we did in that business was run ads that led to an opt-in, which collected a phone number, and then I would cold call people to sell them the programs. So that was a very, very intense stage of my business life. And I will never make my clients do that unless, of course, they want to. So when I moved away from youth work, I took all of those skills, which were, 5-6 years in development, and specialized in course building for a few years. But the shift to business strategist was I actually realized that people needed help with courses on either side. The mindset, which I'd been developing and working on and studying for years, to then go into building a business, understanding niche, all of the things that come with being able to successfully build a course and launch it and run it. So I adore creating content and courses. I love helping people connect to their ideal client and being brave enough to go after that ideal client and going deep with their niche, which we do talk about today. And I love teaching people how to fall in love with sales. So I suppose I am a little bit of a business all-rounder. So that is me. And in that picture, that's the camera that I won at Summer Film School this year, which is way cool. So if you're on this webinar, chances are you actually feel like you're a little bit stuck. You're not sure where to move forward. There's these rules to the game, and you're not quite sure what the rules are because, someone says this, someone says that. Are you in startup still? Are you in growth phase? Where are you at? What do you need to do? Because there's a lot of information out there, and it's really easy to get confused and not know where to go next. So you may be stuck building your list. Your offers might not be consistently landing. And today, I'm really open to exploring if your niche has been clarified enough, because if it's a little bit vague, that's going to hold you back from going, yep, I'm definitely out of startup, or I'm ready to go into the growth phase of business, or, you know, I'm launching and it's not landing anymore. All of these things, this is what we're going to look at. Because if you can't go, I'm here, this is where I'm at, this is where I want to go, it does actually impact your day-to-day actions. So I had a poll in Webinar Ninja. So if you know, if you're really confident, if you know where, actually, no, this is a better question. If you don't know where you're at in the stages of business, type a, yeah, I'm not sure, or something in the chat box. Or if you're like, yeah, I'm pretty confident I know where I'm at, type that in the chat box as well, just so I can sort of see where everyone's at. Nothing's coming in. Pretty confident. Yep. Cool. Awesome. Not sure what to call it. Yeah, not sure. Still in startup. Getting clear. All over the place. Awesome. Well, ladies, you're all in the right place, because I am going to take you on a little bit of a journey, because this is something I actually found really interesting. I know a lot of you have probably seen me asking lots of little questions and things all over the interwebs. A lot of people can't actually identify where they're at on the business journey, and they don't understand why it's actually important. You know, if you don't know where you're at, you can potentially make the mistake of jumping too far ahead. And you need to understand, because it was a mistake that I made when I was in startup of my new business. I was getting consistent one-on-ones that was really starting to grow, but then I jumped across the stage and started launching online businesses and wondering why I wasn't having 5-6-figure launches straight away. So it's really important to understand the stage, because you need to have systems in place and processes. Now, if you have a lot of one-on-one clients and you are considering launching, or you've launched, I really need you to hear what I'm about to say. If you've already launched and you're struggling to keep filling your courses, you can recover and you can come back stronger than ever. It's just that you've probably launched too soon and you've missed a phase. So how do you know when you're ready to step out of startup? Now, in my mind, there's actually no one set answer. Now, some people base it on income. Some people base it on client numbers. Some people base it on time in business. Some people are like, well, I've already got systems, or I'm ready to implement systems now. Some people would say if you're purely doing email marketing, it's all about the list size. I say, how long is a piece of string? I do believe you can't move out of startup if you're not prepared to decide you're ready. And if you're ready to let go of playing small, and if you're ready to be consistent, and you're ready to embrace systems, processes, and technology, if you're ready to be focused on growing your visibility and your list size, I don't think it matters if you've been in startup for 3 months or if you think you've actually been in startup for 2 years. You are actually ready, because I truly believe that startup can become a state of mind, and you can just hide in that space. I'm still in startup. I'm still in startup. I'm still in startup. It excuses a truckload of things. So type a yes or a no if you agree with me on that. I'd like to hear your opinion, because this is my beliefs. Because I actually believe that startup, when it becomes a state of mind, can hold you back. And when you make a conscious decision to move into the growth phase, that's when the magic happens. It has to start with the decision to let go of the security of startup. So let's see how the magic happens. All right. So these are what I believe are the stages of business for where we're at. Startup, growth, online launching, and then scaling. Now, if you're here, you're probably not ready to go to the scaling section. So when I talk about scaling your business, that means hitting you're already 6 figures, you're ready to go even bigger than 6 figures, or to go into the higher 6 figures. Now, I'm not here assuming anything from anyone, but for some of the people that I know, you're not ready to go into the $500,000 scaling, you know, have a team of 20, have, you know, yeah. So scaling for me, that means going huge. So today we're looking more at the startup and growth phases and how that impacts going into the online launching. So the steps, and I'm going to talk about these in more detail: niche, planning, copywriting, list building, systems and automation, visibility, batching, video, behavioral flexibility, tracking, sales, and mindset. Dee's gone, ooh, no. So let's get started into it. Type the questions as we go, and remember there will be time for questions at the end as well. I've calmed down now. I was a little bit flustered when I started this, and the ninja just kind of collapsed on me. Damn you, ninja. If you could see me on the video, I'm shaking an angry fist, but I have calmed down now. So let's move into some content. All right, let's have a look at the stages. So yeah, that's why it's called ninja. Exactly. I am, thank you, Susan. I am pretty calm under pressure because I've had a few system crashes. Anyway, all right, startup, growth, launching, and scaling. All right, so startup for me, because this work that I'm doing now, I started 2.5 years ago and evolved from the course building into the business strategist that you see today. So I think for me, I had quite a short startup period, but I skipped and went straight into launching because I'd previously had a business. So I didn't identify that I really needed to rebuild into the growth phase. Now, the growth phase is, you know, your niche, you need to refine it. The systems, you're not quite 100% systemized and automated yet, but you're aware that they need to be brought in, and you're ready to do that. So growth phase then definitely moves into building your list and your content. And like I said earlier, I should have changed this slide a bit earlier, the scaling part, I don't think we're quite ready for that. But that's my take on it. And before most people go startup over to launching, and one of the things I really, really wanted to highlight here is you might have a good first launch, a good second launch, but by the third and the fourth launch, things start to get struggle town if you haven't implemented the growth phase. All right, next slide, please. Thank you. No, I don't want to change the slide. There we go. So let's have a look at the steps. Deepening your niche. Who here feels that they could go deeper in their niche? Yes or no? Yep. Cool. So this is something, now I share a lot from my own experience. So you can see that, I suppose, so you can see that I walk my talk, right? So I was working with women in business who wanted to, I think Elizabeth, you're right. I was working with women in business who wanted to grow their business. So that's really general. Now I'm working with business that are ready to move out of startup and really go into the growth phase of their business so they can systemize, automate, set up, create habits and patterns to take daily action to create their long-term vision for their business. So you can see when you deepen your niche, how much more specific you can get. And that's going to really support the growth phase. Because if you can be very, very specific, the people that need your help will be able to find you a lot more easier. Now, totally more niching, yes. So deepen your niche. Does anyone have any concerns about deepening their niche? I know a lot of people are worried that means they're limiting themselves. But niching sets you free, because the more general you are in your messaging and your offers, people aren't going to recognize that you solve their problem. we can talk about deepening your niche at the end of the call as well. So there's always ways to deepen your niche. A lot of the niche issues when I work with people that I come up with is people are afraid to go after the client that they want. And if you know the kind of person that you want to work with, go for it. You've got to give yourself permission with the niche. And like Elizabeth said, sometimes you just have to change one tiny thing. And Alice, you know, as Alice has said, she lost some people from her classes because she made the decision to go deep with her niche. They weren't her ideal client, and it did mean a little less income in the immediate time frame. But if you had a choice between working with clients that are ho-hum, meh, yeah, I'm turning up, I'm just doing it for money, or you jump out of bed every day going, oh my gosh, I have the best clients, I love my clients, which would you prefer? And as Alice said, her clients were driving her a little bit crazy. I like my sanity, thanks. So yeah, don't let niche box you in. Let's talk about planning. Planning is a huge thing for the growth phase. Now, you need a plan. You need to plan and I actually did a Facebook Live on this in my group. You need to plan for your big picture vision. So a vision of where you ideally want your business to go in the next 2, 3, 5 years. That gives you a big vision plan. But you also need the smaller plan with the action steps you can take daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly to grow your list, to build your visibility, create your presence, and you need a plan set up in a way that you can easily follow. So you ladies will all know I'm in launch. I'm going to talk to you about the Beyond Startup Mastermind at the end of the call. A lot of you were on the previous training that I ran. Planning has made my life so easy in this launch because I know quarterly what I want to promote, my goals for my clients. I have an idea of the income I want to create. I have Asana set up, so I have daily action set up in Asana. So every day I wake up, I open Asana and I'm like, what do I need to do today? Oh, today I run a webinar. Today I post this in my group. So planning, when you lock all the pieces together and you plan your content, and we'll talk a little bit about content and offers in a moment, it makes your life so much easier. Planning. So I can see here, I need to get my Asana set up. I'm currently setting up my Asana. You know, Asana is one part of the plan. I use OneNote as well, and I do content planning, and I do batching, which we're going to be talking about as well. But if you don't have a plan, you're going to wake up every day and you're going to have the confusion and doubt around what you actually need to do. And whether you work with someone else or you work with me, the growth phase relies on you consistently taking action, consistently planning what you need to do. That's my next slide. Developing your skills. So somebody said to me once, Trudy, you make Facebook Live seem so easy. You make content and copywriting seem so easy. I have been working my butt off at this for 9 years. It's been 9 years since I left the safety of corporate job. So this stuff doesn't happen overnight. But you need to be prepared to work at it. And this is where the growth phase is so valuable. So one of the things I've noticed, and I have been guilty, I will admit, is there's this trend right now to just cut and paste your copy across multiple groups, not changing anything and doing the same copy day in, day out. Now, you need to be willing to work at your copy. You need to be willing to refine it. You need to start tracking and analyzing what worked, what didn't. So I use Evernote, and I put each week I'll have the copy saved in Evernote. I'll look at it, I'll copy and paste that, but then I'll refine it. I'll refine the copy for the group. I'll have a look and see what worked. Now, if I've written a piece of copy and it's going gangbusters, I won't necessarily edit that. But copywriting is an actual skill that doesn't happen overnight. You need to be willing to work on that in the growth phase and really develop that skill, because that is a skill that will serve you moving forward in every other phase of business that you could possibly go to. So I'm just checking my notes. What else have I got here? Developing your skills. Start implementing the systems and start automating your technology wherever you can. Where am I? Sorry, batching. Okay, that's my next thing. You're batching your newsletters as well. Now, one of the biggest things that I've actually realized over probably the last 3 to 6 months is telling a story with your newsletters and creating a flow. So if you grab out your Post-it notes and you think, what do my clients need? If I could take them on a story over 4 to 6 weeks, how would that story look? So it could be the first step, and I'm going to make an example up on the spot because that's the kind of person that I am. So video marketing, right? So I want to start sharing more video stories. So the first step, okay, well, before people come and spend $1,200 with me to film their brand story and their video story and do little promo pieces and stuff, they've got to be confident in front of the camera. So the first step, getting camera confident, doing your first live, looking and exploring your marketing in on the online space, improving the production quality of your videos, then coming and getting me to do it. So if you're struggling with batching your newsletters, create a story and then batch it and write the newsletters all in one go and have a flow. Because the biggest mistake I used to make, every week I'd be like, oh, what am I going to write about today? And it was all a little hodgepodge of this and that. So learning to batch and learning to tell a story within your own work will actually set you up quite successfully, because then people are going to be more interested in your opt-ins. It makes sense, it's cohesive, and there's a journey with that. So what else have I got in my notes? I think that's it for developing your skills. Actually, I've missed one thing completely in my notes. Video. Like I said, I love video. I love doing Facebook Lives. I did 2 this morning. But it's a skill that you have to develop. You have to practice getting comfortable in front of the camera. Because, well, I'm seeing this stat everywhere. 80% of content is going to be consumed via video online. So we don't want to get left behind. So here we are on the journey so far. You've gone deep in your niche. You've identified where you need to start to develop your skills, where you need to start creating systems. You've started planning for the short term, the quarterly term, because you know it's going to tie into your long-term business. You're starting to understand, okay, I know what kind of things my ideal client needs now. I can create checklists, inspirational memes, posts, video trainings, because you're starting to get comfortable in video. All of a sudden, your visibility then starts to lift. And all of this, you want to start tracking and assessing your stats. So the growth phase, it's not necessarily the what you would consider the sexiest phase, I guess. It's testing, refining, implementing and developing and building. And this is the phase that most people skim over, don't do for very long, or miss entirely. And I know that I did that with my business. Now, sometimes I get told off for being a little bit too transparent, but I want you guys to learn from my mistakes. I went straight from one-on-one to online launching, and I hadn't built my systems, I hadn't built my processes up strongly enough last year to support a massive spike. So if you had to think now, how do you track your data? Do you have a system or a process in place? Every week, do you have a look and see, okay, how many people signed up for this opt-in? How many people commented on my posts? Where am I at with even tracking my income? Suzanne has a spreadsheet that she updates on Monday. How to assess your stats. That's a spot where Alice needs to check in, because one of the biggest things is numbers don't lie, right? Data is data. And I know a lot of people, and I used to be the same, avoid looking at that because it shows us what's not working, and sometimes that makes us feel bad. But imagine you had a system and a process. So I use ConvertKit. So when I'm in a launch, or I used Webinar Ninja for these webinars, I can see how many people have signed up, obviously, but I can also see how many people are hitting the landing page. Now, that's one form of data when you're list building, because if the list building isn't working, how do you know when to either cut it or if you need to refine it? Because building your list in the growth phase is what sets you up for being able to do successful online launching. Now, I know a lot of us use the warm leads. We're all in Facebook groups. We talk, we connect. Facebook ads can be a little bit scary. They're an investment. If you don't know what you're doing, it feels like you're throwing money away. But unless you have a lot of time to spend in a lot of groups, that strategy doesn't last long. You need to be building the list as well. And, for a good year, I wasn't focused on building my list. So then when the ponds were fished, as the terminology is used, the launch has gone harder. So I want to make sure I've sort of given you everything here. Does anyone have any questions so far? I haven't gone into a huge amount of detail, but are you clear? Have I made it clear that if you are in startup, the things you need to be starting to look at in the growth phase, so when you are ready to launch, you'll have more numbers on your list and you won't be scrounging for leads in groups all of the time. So which part about the tracking is confusing? Because I've got one more section to talk about. Mindset. We'll get back to the tracking. I'm not sure if that was just general, tracking numbers from blogs and websites, etc. Awesome. Depends on your website, and you should be able to go in and see, and depending on how people are getting to your website. So there's a couple of variables in there. I think yeah, thank you, Julie. Julie's a website lady. She'll be able to give you some tips there too. Now, the biggest thing in all of this, I think, is mindset. The decision to move out of startup is yours. The decision to move into the growth phase and to grow your list and grow your business, it's huge. Do you have a daily practice? Now, I wake up every morning and I might have a little napitation because I might go back to sleep while I'm meditating. But the first thing I do is I visualize how I want my day to look. Now, because I have everything in Asana, so my daily launch actions, my daily business actions, I have that reassurance that if I miss something, it's there anyway. But I spend that time in bed in the morning and going, okay, I want to get up in the morning, I want to feed my cats, and I actually play a picture out of how I want my day to look. Of course, I didn't visualize the Ninja not working today, so sometimes things don't go completely to plan, but I have a feel for it. Now, some daily practices, type your daily practices in there in the chat box that you use for mindset. Let's share some out. And for those of you that don't know me that well, I've had a lot of mental health issues over the years, and had the black dog comes to visit, and every day I do daily practice with gratitude and spending that time connecting. Walking is another great thing, because to be successful in growth phase and to prepare for the online launch phase, you must be doing daily mindset practice. Now, if you're a really super cool, happy person, still do it anyway. If you're not under pressure to make your business work, still do it anyway. But if you are feeling the pressure to step out of startup and start implementing all of these things, daily practice. It will save your sanity, because your daily practice will then set you up mentally for accessing your Asana, for using your automations. I love doing a productivity module, which I haven't shared for ages. I might just pull it out of the Coach's Brainery and share that. Loads of self-care is important. It really, really is. And I was talking to my mentor yesterday, who I've known for like 10 years. And he said to me, he goes, Trudy, you're about women's empowerment. You have walked the path, done the journey, whether you help women with their business or you help them personally. Hi, Shalini. You understand that mindset is everything. And Shalini's put in here, she visualizes her diary magically clearing for the day. She prays, chants. Dee's had the black dog in the past. She's put lots of things into her routine. And so this is where systemizing and automating your business, creating the clarity around what you have to do daily, gives you the space to do that. And if you don't feel you have the space to do that, do it anyway. So I'm a big fan of getting the growth phase right, because I didn't. I'm pretty transparent with where I'm at. Last year, I went into a massive online launching phase and I was not ready. And it put me back. So I've gone back and I am really focused on making sure before I do more big launches that I've got everything set up in the growth phase. And I'm at the tail end of having everything set up now. And this is why I'm doing the offer that I'm doing today, ladies, because I don't want you to have to run around in a big, massive circle. So type your questions, because we've got plenty of time. I will stay on the call as long as I need to answer your questions. But, what part of this call I would love to know is making you tick the yes box, or making you go, like, yes, I'm ready to go into the growth phase, or maybe I missed the growth phase. Maybe I need to, keep working that. Now, if you're in the online launching phase, I'm not telling you to stop, but I'm telling you to review your growth phase steps and start consistently implementing those. Yeah. And your peeps are ready to grow with you, definitely, Elizabeth. So I'll let you keep writing in your questions. I'm going to tell you about the Beyond Startup Mastermind. We all know with webinars, there's the energy exchange that, I'll tell you my thing and then I'll answer all your questions at the end. It's how we work. So I want you to imagine you had a plan in place to support you to implement all of the things you need to move out of startup or to support your recovery from premature launching phase, which I think is totally a thing. I made that premature launching phase up the other day. I thought that was really funny. So all of the things that we discussed today, and they're not only bits and pieces that you do here and there, but these things will actually set you up to be successful. So how many people here went from one-on-one to launching programs with a small list and a lot of hope? Because that was me. Yep, That was me. And just imagine you've got this plan in place, and now you know you've got a system that's going to support your recovery from premature launching. Or if you're ready to move out of startup, yeah, Dee said it worked for a while. But imagine being set up and running efficiently all of the time, so that when you hit the launch phase, or when you go back into launch phase, you're in front of warm traffic, you've got a nurtured list that is working through the journey with you. I loved how you said that before, Elizabeth, that you're taking your list on a journey with you, and there is such a strong know, like, trust factor in your marketplace, and your goals were achievable, and you could go larger every launch. Yeah, I'm reading your posts, everyone. Ooh. So the Beyond Start Mastermind has all of this, because business has been sold to a lot of us as a short game. But if you want to build a sustainable business, you need to take the time to building consistency and refocus. Because most people do go from one-to-one to big program launches. And if you don't have the systems set up, the automations, the structure, the consistent list building that's working, your launches will end up going backwards. So that was me. Might sound like you. So I'm offering the Beyond Startup Mastermind. You work with me for 6 months. We'll develop your strategy. So it's going to make it easier to implement all of the consistency, all of the visibility, and we'll refine your message so when you show up, you get more traction. We'll build the content strategy, and it's going to include passive income products. If you're not confident with video yet, we're definitely going to work on that. If you've hung around me for a while, you know it'll be fun. I am a massive hand holder and a massive cheerleader, so I will look after you. But we want to start really building the list, and videos are going to help you with that. Because when your list knows you, when your list loves you, they're going to be hungrier for what you have to offer next, and your conversions will be higher when you launch. And in the meantime, I'll work with you. I've got my team of experts, and we're going to help you analyze your data, because your data tells you the story. And in all of that, I mentioned it before, but I've been studying mindset for like 10 years now. I have a huge amount of tools that will help you when you wobble. And here's the thing, if you are wobbling, you'll all have my number. You can call me anytime to support you in that, because I know how the wobbles can really undermine you in business. You know, so the process is this. You get a one-on-one call with myself or one of the experts every month. There'll be 2 group calls. My goal is to have 12 women sign up for this mastermind. So over the 2 group calls, you'll be a focused masterminder, or you'll be the support masterminders, depending on which call you booked into. Now, my expert team, right? So I have Laura Dick. I'm pretty sure everyone here knows Laura Dick. She's my operations manager. She is my Asana expert. You have access to her. Now, chances are you'll get a one-on-one session with her as part of your membership fees. You don't pay extra for the sessions with the experts. Laura is fab. Laura is my lifeline. Now, I'm setting this up. So this is more than a mastermind, and I've realized calling it a mastermind's probably sold it a little bit short. You'll have weekly accountability. We will have check-ins. You will have access to all of my online content, which at this stage doesn't mean much. But here's the thing. I only want to work with 20 women at a time. So if I get 12 people in my mastermind, that leaves space for 8 one-on-one clients, and that's it for the next 6 months. You are not going to be one of many in a program, or you won't get lost, because I've refined my processes, and I've got some people that have been in previous rounds of squad. There is nowhere to hide now. And I know that's probably a little bit scary for some people, but there will be weekly accountability. I will check in on you. You have to be ready to move into growth phase for that. I will rewrite your copy. I will refine things for you. I will give you love when you need it, and I will give you the tough conversations if you need those as well. So there's all the stuff and the things, and this is what we do, etc. But I'll give you everything that I am in this, because as my mentor said yesterday, you know, I want people to feel good. I help women feel good. And at this stage, I'll help you feel good with your business, and I will love your business like it's my own. So if you're looking for that level of support, this is what the Beyond Startup Mastermind is. Now, I will have to go and find the link because it was all set up. Oh, Alex couldn't get into the Zoom room. Why is that, Alex? Oh my gosh, what a terrible experience this webinar has been in the setup. Okay, sorry, Alex, I will have to get back to you. Where is the link? Oh, awesome, Elizabeth. Elizabeth's coming back because she was in the last round of the squad. You know what? I am going to have to email you the link because I'm scrounging through a whole heap of things and keeping you waiting. Where is my OneNote? Here's a little tip. I forgot. I use OneNote for all of my links and lists and tracking things. Here is the application form. If you know you want to join the Beyond Startup Mastermind. Now, it's an application form. So here's the thing. I need to make sure you're the right fit for the other businesses that are already in there. Now, the pricing is $2,875 for paid in full. So that basically works out that you get a month for free. Like I said, I'm in that group every day. I am supporting you every day. I am limiting the amount of clients I'm prepared to take on board for the next 6 months so I can be 100% present for you. I want to help you build your opt-ins. I want to help you grow your list. I want to get you confident with Facebook Live and doing powerful calls to action. We're going to be looking at groups. Do you need a group? When do you need a group? We're going to be preparing the long-term game for you to look at launching a program if you're ready for it. So my big thing is you learn from my mistakes. Now, payment plans are available. I am open to discussing an extended payment plan as well, because I don't want money to be the thing that stops you. Because if money is the only thing that is holding you back from having a conversation with me about this, please don't let that be the thing. If you know that this kind of stuff is not what you want, fine, please take all the value that you can from my free stuff and keep going. Do the stuff that you need to do with your business. But I really want you to just imagine how it will feel being guided to get all of this set up. Because at the end of this call, once the slides are over, I'll put my camera back on. I can show you my Asana. I'll show you my Evernote. I'll show you how I use OneNote. And if you need the help implementing that and setting it up. But here's the thing. I know that you're at this point. Now, if you have questions, you're not ready to apply, but you still have questions, book in a 15-minute call with me. I'm not scary. I will not sign you up if this is not right for you. It's that simple. But I know for many people that if you don't take action, things aren't really going to change. Without the supports, the little pokes, the encouragement and guidance, things aren't changed, and business will stay scary and business will stay lonely. Because you actually take less risks in business if you don't have somebody there to support you. So all I want you to do right now, put your hand on your heart, and I want you to feel it beating. That is your truth. If there is a flicker of uncertainty around saying no to this, if you're thinking, oh, next time, next round, but there's a bit of longing there, do me a favor, stop worrying about the money or whatever it is that's holding you back. And you know what I want you to do? Apply anyway. Have the conversation. I will spend some time with you. I will talk to you. I will probably give you some really great tips to keep moving forward, whether you work with me or not, because I am a giver, in case you haven't figured that out. But it is an application process. Shaz has to run, but she's going to book an appointment. Awesome. Let's talk later. Brilliant. But I don't want you to get stuck where you are now. So whether it's somebody else, whether it's with me, you know the phase that you're at. I've given you an outline of the steps that you need to take. Back yourself and be prepared to take the steps, even if it's us just having a quick conversation. Because I've walked the path and I know how sucky it can be when you don't do it right. When you go, yes, I've got 200 people on my list, I'm going to go and launch programs and I'm going to expect to make 30, 40, 50 grand each launch. Sometimes I'm a little naive, but I learn, right? So there's the links. If you need to screenshot this screen, the links are already in the chat box anyway. Sorry that I got a little bit emotional there because I feel this so much. I feel this so much. Now, you know where you're at. You know what help you need. Let's announce the winners of the share challenges. Okay, so I had a first and I had a second place. So D. Cooper Wells, you have won a biz audit with me. You shared it, you tagged it, you loved it, you questioned it. So that is a well-deserved win, D. So Shalini, awesome. Any questions afterwards, please feel free to get in touch. My pleasure. And I actually did a 30-minute coaching session call for second place. And so second place is won by Suzanne Kohlberg because she also shared and tagged and loved and questioned. So message my page or I'll get in touch with you ladies so we can organise your prize. And for those of you that are going, what on earth is the share challenge? This is a good little tip for you ladies. All of you should be doing this if you're running webinars and stuff. The share challenge is the early sign-ups. You send out an email and you go, okay, cool. If you like my post, you get an entry. If you tag a friend, you get 2 entries, 3 entries, whatever it was. I kind of did a little bit different this time. But they help you expand your reach and they get a reward for doing that. So my pleasure, ladies. Congratulations. Now, questions. Let me scroll back through the chat and have a read. Just sort of going through them. I'm going to stop the share. I will put on my video. Let's talk. All right. Niching. I'm just scrolling through, ladies, so don't mind me. You're welcome to turn your cameras on if you want, or you can leave them off, that's fine. Tracking numbers from blogs and websites. So Julie suggested Google Analytics, and there's also Yoast as well. So I'm not a web expert. This is why I have an expert team to work with me. So I get people to help me with that kind of stuff too. But yeah, knowing where your traffic is coming from is really, really important, because if you're posting blogs on your Facebook page that have a call to action, cool, you want to keep doing that. If you've got a YouTube channel set up and you've got links where you can track people, so I use Bitly links. So if I have a landing page, I'll create a Bitly link, and then that actually tells me where people are coming from and how many people are clicking. And then you can keep doing what works. So if you're not sure, ask the questions and find out. Now, we talked about mindset and self-care. Intention, Alice, I love that you're doing setting intentions. That's super powerful. What else? Exercise. I don't do enough, and I know that's a huge thing. So I'm going to be getting back on my roller skates once I change the indoor wheels to the outdoor wheels. Acuity. You need to have an online booking system. So I was taught by my old mentor that as soon as somebody says they're interested in something, you just get them on the phone, book it in, do it all manually, over chat, But that's actually a block for people. People like to be able to go, hey, what time am I available? What time are you available? So Acuity is a great system. And there's also Calendly. Julie has to go. No worries, Julie. Oh, she's already gone. Bye, Julie. Bye, Alice. Hopefully that's given you a lot to think about. Oh, back to the sports carnival. Oh, Teresa's in. Bless. Okay. Are there any other questions? Because you can actually unmute yourself if you want. Because I'm really good at talking. I could just talk about stuff all day. Was there something specific that you want to know more about? I'll go back to my notes and see what I had in here.
Hi, Trudy.
Hi. How are you, Dee?
I'm good, thank you. I just have to say I'm so emotional after winning that. That makes me feel so proud that I can have a session with you. Love working with you. But my question is, can you show us like your Evernote?
Yes. Just give me a moment. I'll close off my slides. That's OneNote. Evernote. Where are you, my darling? Okay, Evernote's not open at the moment. Evernote will be open in a moment. No, not EveNote, Evernote. I'm not the best typer. Need to get my nails done again. Log in, please, Evernote. It's thinking. Okay, so my Evernote. Make sure. All right, cool. I can show you my Evernote. I'm going to actually just scroll that down. Okay, so I love Evernote. I use Evernote. I'll just get that out of the way. So I use Evernote. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm not using it to its full capacity. I use Evernote as a storage space for my copy. So different versions, so I can track what's working, what isn't, what dates I share stuff. I can make notes here. I haven't put, it's long copy, I haven't put bullet points in, so I know before I share this copy that I need to add in the bullet points, which is a really critical part of creating copy that people read. I shared this one on the 26th of June. Tash Corbin had a note for promo for lead magnets when you're in a launch. So I saved that in there because I thought that was really important. Somebody wrote some really cool stuff about automation. I do a business audit offer, so I've got that saved in here. Then there was some stuff from the Unicorn Ball, Roden Fields, because, you know, I love good skincare. So I save all of this stuff in here. Now, you can have different notebooks. So I've done some work with Shanae. So I had one for Shanae because then you can share it. One of my clients, some launch stuff. I was setting up a course called Magnetize Your Message last year, which I didn't end up running. I did some work for Tash. So this is how I store it all in here. So, yeah. Cool. No worries, Suzanne. Oh, she's already gone. Save for the mastermind. Teresa, we'll talk. So that's Evernote. So it's good. It's a great place to store all of your ideas. You see the toy box in there, so that's where you go. And if you have all the random ideas, but you know now is not the right time to implement them, you save those ideas in your toy box. So that's Evernote. Now I'll show you my OneNote as well if you like, because I use Evernote for ideas, OneNote for my sort of daily, weekly, 90-day sort of overall business goals. And then I use Asana for daily actions. So I will share screen with OneNote. And this is the kind of stuff that we're going to be working on in the Beyond Startup Mastermind to implement. I have 3 spaces for stuff. That's it. You know, I still write notes and things, but if it's important, I transfer it over. Yeah, I can work with you on Evernote. Like, I'm not an Evernote expert. I'll probably get in touch. Might see if Airly will come and do a thing. So here's the thing, right? So with what I do, I'm not the expert of all of the things. And this is why I have a team of experts around me. And this is where a lot of the power from the Beyond Startup Mastermind comes in. Because if I don't know it, I'll go and get one of my expert people, or I'll invite somebody in to start actually sharing it. Now, Laura's pretty switched on with most of this stuff. But I know Airly is specifically good at Evernote. But I will teach you the foundations of how you can use it, and then you can advance from there. So this is, just move that out of the way, this is OneNote. So this is my focus list, daily, weekly, monthly, 90 days, tasks for my VA, links for pages, so I can just have all my links saved in here, auction notes, excuse me. So the reason I like OneNote, and Evernote is the same, you can have these attached to your phone, have an app on your phone, so you can update it on your phone if you're not in front of your laptop. So don't be overwhelmed by all of this. Like, this is a process that I'm taking the Beyond Startup Mastermind people through, but for your own outcomes, whether you join me or not, it's like, okay, this is the idea spot, this is the 90-day goals spot, and this is the daily action spot. And if you know how to break it all down and manage that, your brain is just like, cool, business feels really easy. Elizabeth's done Tidy Friday with Early, so yeah, Early's awesome. Well, I haven't actually told her she's going to help us with Evernote yet, Elizabeth, but I know Early personally, so I can always ask her. Are there any other questions? Because they're the systems that I use, and they're the systems that I'm going to help people implement. Yeah, Early's cool. Can I, like, please type in your questions, because this is where I'm happy to over deliver. What else can we talk about? Opt-ins. So webinars are traditional opt-ins if you're launching, but you also have checklists, ebooks, mini email courses, mini training courses are getting quite popular as well. So that's the kind of stuff that we can explore too. My thing for you is, the question you would ask yourself is, how do my ideal client like to digest the information? I'm not a huge video person. I would rather get a checklist or get a note. So I'm just reading a question here. So consider how they digest it. Or it's like, okay, I'm going to do a video, but would it add value adding a transcript to it? Because if it's purely video, people like me, we're probably not going to watch the whole thing. So there's a whole thing when you're building your opt-ins to consider. It's not just, oh, well, I like videos, so I'm going to do videos, or I'm going to write a report. It's like, how does my ideal client? So if you work with busy mums, do they have time to sit down and watch a half-an-hour video? Potentially not. They're probably going to prefer a checklist, something that's easy to save, download, something easy to read, digest, mark off, done. So that's the kind of stuff that you think about. I use Asana. So I've got a couple of different folders, different things set up with Asana. I'll show you my Asana so you guys can see that as well. As you, like I said, I'm really transparent. Show you all my stuff. So I have the Beyond Startup launch. So these are my my things. So we broke that down at the start. You can see at the end, have a Bailey's to celebrate a successful launch. Woo! Because fun, why not? But I'm just reopening the chat. And then we've got the Beyond Startup. There's a weekly plan, and This Chick Means Business, I have a monthly plan as well. Haven't been doing a lot in there because this launch has been my life for the last, what are we now? Last 6 weeks. So I've got a spreadsheet from my accountant that I use to track my income, Teresa. So that's how simple Asana is. And if you have a VA, you can have team conversations, team calendar. That just gives you a bit of an insight. So you can make it as easy or as detailed as you want. And you'll find that there will be systems that you prefer to use over other systems. So I'm not saying these are the only systems you must use. Elizabeth's Prince Charming tracks her income. How gorgeous. And he was very much a Prince Charming at the ball. So, so I use the spreadsheet that my accountant sent me. I did have Xero set up, and I was discussing with my accountant, I don't have a business credit card. I use my personal card only for business, because when I was changing over businesses and everything, it was just easier to keep using it because it's the only thing I use it for. So my accountant has a spreadsheet for me. And before that, I was tracking in Excel. I did set up for Xero, but because Xero made the decision that personal credit cards weren't able to be tracked in Xero, I've stopped Xero now, because I'm like, well, I have my spreadsheet. I don't have a business credit card yet. Xero was only giving me half of what I needed at that time. And because I only want to work with 20 clients maximum, doing the invoicing or setting up manual payments for the Beyond Startup Mastermind in my online banking system, or in Stripe if you have Stripe, it didn't make sense to be spending $120 a year on something that I wasn't using. So that's where you have flexibility around how you run your business as to what you want to implement. Does that help, Teresa? I'm going to assume that does, because you've gone quiet. It helped. Oh, help Dee. Awesome. Yes. Brilliant. Any other questions? I do want to say thank you so much for attending the call. If you want to scroll through the chat, the sign up is there if you want to have a chat. I did a question in the Heart Centre group yesterday. Do you want offers? What kind of offers do you like at the end of your webinars? And it was a bit of a mix. So that's why I'm like, you know what? If you know this is for you, fill in the application form. If you still have questions, let's have a call. I'm pretty easygoing. So whatever works, let me know. Yes. Awesome, Elizabeth. So there's 2, 3 counting Teresa. I've worked with Teresa and we have a session this afternoon. So you'll be a great mix for the mastermind as well. So 9 spaces to go. Anyway, ladies, any other questions come up, let me know. I'm going to have to jump back into Webinar Ninja and turn off all of the, yep, Jamie's in as well. Dee's going to do the application. Awesome. I'm going to have to turn off all of the notifications from Webinar Ninja because it didn't work. Anyway, so stay tuned for the link. Thank you so much for your time today. I will be having a strong word with Webinar Ninja. But, you know, it is what it is. Behavioral flexibility. This is what we need for the growth phase as well. All right. I will talk to you all soon, ladies. Take care. Bye.